Hello guys, welcome to the lecture on Engineering Statistics and Linear Algebra. In this new module, that is module number 4, I am going to discuss briefly about what is meant by vector spaces, what is meant by subspaces, and few examples related to the vector space and subspaces. So first we will see what is meant by vector spaces. So to define vector space, we must have a non-empty set and a field. So let me consider, let F be the field and V be the non-empty set. Then the set V is said to be vector space over a field F if the following axioms are satisfied. For every alpha, comma, beta and gamma belongs to the non-empty set V, and for every A, comma, B belongs to F. So where this A and B will be called as an scalars with respect to the field F. So now to show that any set is a vector space, it must satisfy two conditions. One is vector addition and one more is scalar multiplication. So based on these two conditions, so let me define few axioms to satisfy the vector space property. The first axiom is V is an abelian group under addition, that is plus sign. So in this abelian group, mainly I'm having 5 properties. The first one is closure law. So I'm taking two sets alpha and beta in the non-empty set V. So if alpha comma beta belongs to the set non-empty set V, then the addition of the two sets, that is alpha plus beta, also must be in the non-empty set V. So hence we can say the closure law gets satisfied. Second one is commutative law. So same thing here also. I'm considering two sets here. One is alpha and beta. So alpha plus beta must be equal to beta plus alpha. For all alpha comma beta belongs to V is the condition here. Next is associative law. So here I'm taking three sets alpha, beta, gamma, and the condition is alpha plus of beta plus gamma must be equal to alpha plus beta of plus gamma. So for all alpha comma beta comma gamma belongs to the non-empty set V. Fourth one is identity law. So here how to choose the identity element in the sense with respect to the addition. See, we can see here after adding that identity vector with the actual set, the same set only should appear here. So for that, with respect to addition, I'm taking the 0 as an identity element here. That is alpha plus 0 if I'm adding means again I'm getting the same set alpha only. So hence I can consider with respect to the addition, the 0 is the main and perfect identity element. Next is inverse law. So inverse law is given by alpha plus of minus alpha should be equal to 0. So in the inverse law, the condition is after adding two sets, we must get identity element. So for that, I'm taking alpha plus minus alpha. If I combine these two one, I'll be getting 0 here. So hence I can say inverse law also gets satisfied. So with all these 5 conditions, we can say that the given non-empty set V comma plus is an abelian group under the operation addition. So next one is I'm going to show that V is closed under scalar multiplication. For that I'm considering a scalar A which belongs to the field F and a non-empty set V. It contains the set alpha. Then I'm multiplying the scalar with the set alpha. So I'll be getting A alpha and it must be in the non-empty set V. So after multiplying the scalar with the set alpha, it should be in the non-empty set V. So then only we can say V is a closed under scalar multiplication also. So the next axiom is here I'm going to combine both vector addition and scalar multiplication also. So that is the two compositions, that is scalar multiplication and addition of vectors must satisfy the following condition. The first condition is A into alpha plus beta must be equal to A alpha plus A beta for all A belongs to F and alpha belongs to V. Second one is A plus B into alpha is equal to A alpha plus B alpha for all A comma B belongs to F and alpha belongs to V. Third one, AB into alpha must be equal to A into B alpha for all A comma B belongs to F and alpha belongs to V. So the last condition, that is 1 into alpha must be equal to alpha. So where we can treat this 1 as a scalar which will be in a field F and alpha belongs to V. So with this all condition, we can say that the non-empty set V is a vector space over the field F. one small note over the vector space. The first one is the elements of vector space will be called as in vectors. So in the previous definition, so I can say that alpha and beta and gamma will be called as in vectors because it is contained in the vector space V. So I can say it is a vectors. Second one, if V is a vector space over a field F, then it is denoted by the symbol V of F. So this is the symbol for vector space V, that is V of F we can denote. Third one, if F is a set of real numbers, then its vector space over a real number is denoted by V of R. So here I am treating the real number as a field, so it can be denoted like V of R. Similarly, in the place of real numbers, if I take complex number, so it will be denoted by V of C. So the vector space over the field of complex numbers we can say. Problem. Let R power n be a set of n tuples. N tuple in the sense the set contains n number of elements. Like for example, x1, x2, x3, etc., etc., xn is a set of n tuples here. So of real numbers I am taking here. So let R power n be a set of all n tuples of real numbers. Then R power n is a vector space over a field R with pointwise addition and scalar multiplication. So now the first thing is I should consider few n tuple sets and it must satisfy all the axioms of the vector space. So then only we can say the set R power n is a vector space over the field of real numbers. So as I told that to prove this one, I am considering two vectors first. That is, if alpha is equal to x1, x2, etc., etc., xn be a n tuple. Similarly, beta is equal to y1, y2, etc., etc., yn also be an n tuple, and all these two vectors belongs to the set n tuple set R power n. The first one is closure law. So if alpha comma beta, so as I told that alpha comma beta belongs to R power n, then the sum must be in the R power n. That is, I'm going to combine alpha and beta here. That is, alpha plus beta will be equal to x plus 1 comma x2 plus y2, etc., etc., xn plus y1. So obviously the sum of these real numbers also will be in the n tuple set R power n. So I can say that alpha plus beta belongs to R power n. Therefore R power n is a closed under vector addition. Second one is commutative law. So here we must show that alpha plus beta must be equal to beta plus alpha. So alpha plus beta I'm taking here. I'm adding the set alpha plus beta. So I'll be getting x1 plus y1 comma x2 plus y2, etc., etc., xn plus y1. I'm interchanging the elements here. So I'll be getting y1 plus x1 comma y2 plus x2, etc., etc., yn plus xn. It will be nothing but beta plus alpha. I can write that. So therefore the condition alpha plus beta is equal to beta plus alpha, I got it. So this is the main condition for the commutative law. So hence I can say that commutative law gets satisfied with respect to the vector addition. So next is associative law. So to prove this one, I must have three vectors. So in addition to alpha plus alpha and beta, I am taking gamma also. So gamma also an n tuple. It contains z1, z2, etc., etc., zn here. So the property like alpha plus of beta plus gamma is equal to. So first I am combining only alpha plus beta set. That is x1 plus y1, x2 plus y2, etc., etc., xn plus y1 plus z1, z2, etc., etc., zn. So now I am going to combine entire vector. So I will be getting x1 plus y1 of z1, x2 plus y2 of plus z2, xn plus yn of plus zn. So if I enter in the bracket like, so x1 plus of y1 plus z1, comma x2 plus of y2 plus z2, etc., etc., xn plus yn plus zn. So it will be equal to what? I can take the set x alpha outside, so like x1 comma x2 comma etc., etc., xn I can write it, comma plus y1 plus z1 comma y2 plus z2 comma etc., etc., yn plus zn I can write it. So it will be equal to, I can write like alpha plus beta plus gamma. So this is a required condition to show that set is an associative law. So here also we can say that the associative law gets satisfied with respect to the vector addition. So next is identity law. So as I told that with respect to the addition, 0 is an best identity vector here. So I will be taking 0 is equal to 0, 0, etc., etc., n times. Since it is an n tuple set, I am taking for n times, and 0 belongs to R power n. So now I am going to combine the property that alpha plus 0 and 0 plus alpha I am going to create. that is x1 plus 0 comma x2 plus 0 etc etc xn plus 0, I'll be getting x1 comma x2 etc etc xn. It will be equal to alpha. I got it. Similarly, I'm going to find for 0 plus alpha, 0 plus x1 comma 0 plus x2 etc etc 0 plus xn. I got again same set alpha only. So since from the both the condition it will be equal to alpha only, so hence we can say that identity law gets satisfied with respect to the addition for the given n tuples. So next one is inverse law. So after adding the sets, I must get identity element here. So for that I'm taking alpha is equal to x1 comma x2 comma xn, and beta is equal to minus x1 comma minus x2 etc etc minus xn. I'm going to add alpha plus beta, and also beta plus alpha also we can try it. So if I add these two sets, obviously I'll get answer is 0. So hence I can say the inverse law also gets satisfied. So since all the 5 laws get satisfied, I can conclude that r power n comma plus, I mean the set of n tuple sets with respect to the addition is an abelian group here. Next axiom, that is axiom of scalar multiplication. So for that I'll be taking one scalar and one vector, that is alpha is equal to x1 comma x2 etc etc xn, which must belong to r power n, and a scalar a which belongs to r. Then a into alpha will be equal to a into x1 comma x2 etc etc xn. So I'll be getting a alpha is equal to a into x1 comma a into x2 etc etc a into xn, which must be belong to r power n. Since it is a real number, set of real numbers, obviously the scalar into the vector will be in the set of n tuples only. So hence I can conclude that the a dot alpha must belong to r power n. So next one, that is I'm taking two sets and two scalars here, that is f is equal to alpha is equal to x1 x2 etc etc xn, and beta is equal to y1 y2 etc etc yn, which must belongs to r power n. And also the scalars a comma b I'm considering here, which belongs to the field of real numbers r. The first one is a plus b into alpha. I'm combining two scalars, adding two scalars, and that sum I'm multiplying with one vector. So like this, a plus b into x1 comma x2 etc etc xn, a plus b into x1 comma a plus b into x2 etc etc a plus b into xn. So on simplifying this one, I'll be getting a dot x1 comma a dot x2 etc etc a dot xn plus b dot x1 comma b dot x2 etc etc b dot xn. So since it is a scalar, I can take common factor here. I'll be taking a outside from this one and b outside from this one. I'll be getting a into x1 comma x2 etc etc xn plus b into x1 comma x2 comma etc etc xn. So I'll be getting a alpha plus b alpha. So next one is a into alpha plus beta. So here I'm adding two vectors and multiplying that sum with one scalar a. So a dot into x1 plus y1 comma x2 plus y2 etc etc xn plus yn. If I take the scalar inside, I'll be getting a dot x1 plus y1, a dot x2 plus y2, a dot xn plus yn. So if I simplify this, I'll be getting a dot x1 comma a dot x2 etc etc a dot xn plus a dot y1 comma a dot y2 etc etc a dot yn. So I can take a common factor from both the sets. I'll be getting a dot x1 comma x2 etc etc xn plus a dot y1 comma y2 etc etc yn. So I'll be getting a alpha plus a beta for the second condition. Third one is a into b alpha. So a dot bx1 comma bx2 etc etc bxn. I'll be taking a inside also. I'll be getting ab dot x1 comma ab dot x2 etc etc ab dot xn. So I'll be getting ab dot x1 comma x2 etc etc xn, ab into alpha. I can write it. The last condition, 1 dot alpha. So take a scalar 1 and with the alpha, that is 1 dot x1 comma x2 etc etc xn. So since I'm taking the 1 inside, so I'll be getting 1 dot x1 comma 1 dot x2 etc etc 1 dot xn. I'll be getting x1 comma x2 comma etc etc xn. So it is obviously will be equal to again alpha only. I got it. So with all these axioms, I can conclude that R power n is a vector space over a field of real numbers. One small note on the previous problem. In the same previous problem, if I take n is equal to 2, I'll be getting r square. So where r square is nothing but the set of two tuples. So it means that the set contains only two entries like x1 comma x2. It's also a vector space over a field of real numbers. Similarly, if I replace n is equal to 3 in the same problem, I'll be getting the set R cube. So R cube in the sense the set of 3 tuples. So I'll be getting so same thing I can prove here also. So R cube also in vector space over a field of R. The same in the place of R, if I replace a complex number C, that is, if we consider a set of complex number C, then C power n is also a vector space over a field C with the same point-wise addition and scalar multiplication. Next is subspaces. A non-empty subset W of a vector space V is said to be a subspace of V over a field F. So I'm taking a subset W of a vector space V. So, and if W itself is a vector space over a field F with respect to the same operations as I defined in the vector space V. So here the same thing. To prove any set is a subspace, it must satisfy vector addition and scalar multiplication. Example, prove that the subset W is equal to x1, x2, etc., x3. With the condition that x1 plus x2 plus x3 must be equal to 0. So adding this set, it must be equal to 0 of the vector space V3 of R is a subspace of V3 of R. So now I should show that the given set W is equal to x1, x2, x3 is a subset of the set V3 of R. So for that, I'm considering alpha, beta belongs to V. So to prove that vector addition, I must have two vectors. For that, I'm considering two sets alpha and beta, and which belongs to the subset W, and two scalars C1, C2, which belongs to the field of real numbers R. So now let me define what is alpha and what is beta. So alpha will be equal to x1, x2, x3 with the condition that x1 plus x2 plus x3 must be equal to 0. And similarly, beta will be defined by y1, y2, y3, the condition that y1 plus y2 plus y3 must be equal to 0. So now to show the condition for vector addition and scalar multiplication, we must consider only this condition, that is C1 alpha plus C2 beta only. We can take it to prove that the given set W is a vector space. So I'm taking this condition now, C1 alpha plus C2 beta. So I'm keeping C1 as it is. In place of alpha and beta, I'm taking the given two sets alpha and beta here. So I'll be getting C1 of x1, x2, x3 plus C2 of y1, y2, y3. So if I take the scalars inside, I'll be getting C1 of x1, C2 of x2, C1 of x3 plus C2 of y1 plus C2 of y2, C2 of y3. So it will be equal to what? C1 of x1 plus C2 of y1, C1 of x2 plus C2 of y2, C1 of x3 plus C2 of y3. So now to show that this C1 alpha plus C2 beta belongs to the subset W, this set must satisfy this condition. That is, adding these three numbers, the sum should be equal to 0. So now add these three numbers now. So C1 x1 plus C2 y1, C1 x2 plus C2 y2, C1 x3 plus C2 y3. So since here C1, C2 common factor, I can take common factors now. So I'll be taking C1 of x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus C2 of y1 plus y2 plus y3, since it is 0. So I'll be getting C1 of 0 plus C2 of 0. The answer is 0 here. So hence I can say that the condition C1 alpha plus C2 beta belongs to B. So this is a required condition to show that it is a vector addition and scalar multiplication. So hence I can conclude that the given subset W is a subspace of the vector space V3 of R. One more example. Verify W is equal to x1, x2, x3 with the condition that x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square must be less than or equal to 1 of the vector space V3 of R is a subspace of V3 of R. So now I should show that the given set W is a subspace with this condition. So for this, I'm taking the two sets alpha is equal to 1, 0, 0 and beta is equal to 0, 0, 1. So now for this condition, we can see here. So since alpha, beta belongs to W, it must have a condition that 1 square plus 0 square plus 0 square must be less than or equal to 1. So it is obviously true for this condition with this set. And same thing here also. So squaring and adding means it will be equal to 1 only. So since these two conditions satisfy according to the given problem. So now I'm going to do the alpha plus beta. So we'll see what the condition will get it. So alpha plus beta in the sense adding both the sets, alpha set plus beta set. I'll be getting a set like 1, 0, 1. So now for this set, if I apply the same condition like this, I'll be getting 1 square plus 0 plus 1 square. I'll be getting 2, which is not equal to 1, I got it. So since the condition get failed here for this condition, so hence alpha plus beta will cannot be belongs to the subset W. Hence we can say that W is a not subset of V3 of R according to the given condition of the given problem. Thank you.